subscribers. Class members in here. Let's see. Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm just inviting people in. It would be dope if we could have one class with everybody in it, you know? 7 p.m. every Sunday. Hopefully they get these invites. Alright, I sent them all out. Yeah, it's just me and you in here right now, I think. So we're just gonna wait. Give about 5 minutes for the people to get in here, and then we will start. I think I need to upload last week's. I don't think I got around. I think I forgot to get around to that. I'll give it till 7:10, and then we're gonna get rolling. So what's going on? What's going on? Hey, look here, Blazing. Since this is just me and you right now, I think I might have messed up because I made an event thing, but I don't think I told anybody to check the events to make sure that they were going to be present. So let me make a post, and we'll come back in an hour. I'll make a post and come back in an hour and see if we can get everybody in here for that. Otherwise, at 8 o'clock, we're just going to roll with it because I don't think anybody really was prepared for today. Alright, sorry about that. So I'll be back in let's give it a couple minutes, yo. If we can get 5 or 10 people in here, you know, we'll give it till 8. 7:10. Yeah, we'll give it till 7:10. If we can't get like 5 or 10 people in here by 7:10, I'll just shut it down and make a post to let everybody know to come in at 8. Because this is going to be a very important live. We're going to be going over breath work. So I'd like people to be here present for it. I guess it did. I don't know. Maybe I'll just start. Since you know what I was thinking, since it's so difficult for people to catch the lives for the classes, I was thinking, what if I just started recording? Like, I've already started doing it. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a Amun Chakra playlist. I'll change that to Kingdome Academy. I'll change the playlist to Kingdome Academy, and if you click on that playlist, you're gonna find that I've already started recording things off of the symbolisms and things like that. So I think that'll probably be a more productive way to go about it, just because then people can just go to that playlist and run through the stuff that way, and it gives me more of a chance to be more precise with stuff. And you get what I'm saying, or nah? What do you think? Because you're the only one that's here fucking every single time, so I'm gonna ask you, because you're the one that's the most present. Okay, yeah. Because I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of having classes, I'll just have the curriculum be on that playlist. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody keeps missing the classes, Ah, true. All right, yeah. So I'm probably just gonna restructure it then until I've got. And what I'm gonna do is, in the meantime, in the background, I'll be recording videos, and I'm gonna try to find. I'll try to find a way for me to create like a website or something that I can put all the videos for the classes on, because that's what the guy from Embodiment Celestial was talking to me about his Celestial University thing, is that he's got the courses that are on there. So I think I'm gonna try to do that way, because he's about to be promoting my stuff too. I just got to keep in contact with him because he's always busy. But I think that'd probably be a simpler way to go about things. What up, Reset? Yeah. I mean, that's the same way that my curriculum from Mental Magic sells too, is because they have everything all in one place. And I think if I could do that, but I'm gonna need some more memory cards or something. I need more space on my computer. What, Mental Magic Omniverse? Yeah, I'm always going to be a part of that. That's the Moamian culture that helped me originally get in contact with, like, not get in contact with, but be able to understand the hieroglyphs the way that I was wanting to understand them. And that made them make sense. Hey, what up, Heidi? I didn't even see you come in here. But we'll give it like 3 more minutes. If we can reach 5 people in the next 3 minutes, we'll just run the class from here. But if we can't at least get to 5 people in the class, then I'm gonna close it down. I'm gonna put a post up to let all the subscribers know, so that they can be present. That way, Yeah, it does, Blazing. It definitely does. Hey, what's up, Jerry? So so the people that are in here now, I just want to let you guys know, because of the fact that I've been having trouble getting everybody in the classes, what I've actually been doing is making a playlist. I think it's currently named Amun Chakra, but I'm going to change it to Kingdome Academy. And if you look in that playlist, what you're going to find is definitions on hieroglyphs. You're going to find scripture definitions with hieroglyphs. You're going to find the pages from the curriculums in there. So I'm going to keep on doing it like that, just, so that people that are on TikTok don't necessarily have to leave TikTok. Like that way you don't have to go to fucking YouTube or something like that to rewatch stuff and things like that. I'm going to be putting all the classes in that. That's going to be like, I don't want to say your side notes, but that's going to be filled with all the stuff that's in the curriculum. But only the people in the curriculum are actually going to know that that's what's actually in that playlist, So thank you very much, Heidi. I love you too, yeah. So I'm gonna do it like that, but like I'm still gonna have the classes, but I think I'm just gonna do the lives like normal lives and keep extra stuff in that one playlist. Okay, so that playlist is going to have, that's where you're gonna want to go to like take extra notes and stuff like that. But all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut it down and I'm gonna make a post specifically for subscribers. We're gonna come back in 50 minutes, 8 o'clock. Be here at 8 o'clock, 1 hour. Be here sharp, okay? And then regardless of who comes, I'm starting at 8 o'clock. Regardless of who comes, I'm going to go at 8 o'clock and we're going to run this. And you know what? Nah, we're up to 6 people. Fuck it. That's like 10% of the subscribers. We're good. We're running it. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to run it. So today, what we're going to be discussing with you is the breath work, right? The breath work is the thing that you need in order for you to gain control of the functions of the mind. Okay. Now, what most people don't correlate is how the breath and the mind are actually played together. Okay. The breath is what pushes the energy, right? Now, a lot of you have been hearing about a bunch of different meditation practices, right? You've been hearing several different things on how you're supposed to meditate, what you're supposed to do. So first, let's discuss what meditation is, okay? Meditation is fasting for your movement. It is fasting for your thoughts. It is fasting for everything. What you are doing, the reason why you have to meditate in order for you to do certain things is because you need to stop exerting energy. That's what the meditation is for. This is why you're encouraged to do it outside on the ground, is because you'll be grounding yourself, which is what? Exchanging the energies within your body while you're meditating. Okay. Now, if you ground yourself while you're meditating, you're cycling your energies and cleansing them at the same time while keeping your body still so that you're not exerting the energies. The whole reason that you're supposed to clear your thoughts when you're meditating is the fact that what you're wanting to do at that point is release yourself from emotions. It's the emotions that you're trying to silence. The emotions are the things that create the voices. The emotions are the things that expel your energy. All of these things are what you're supposed to, this is why you're supposed to sit when you meditate, because just standing takes energy. You understand? If you stand still in a place for too long, you start to get tired. You start to get exhausted. You start to feel fatigue. You know, sitting, however, you can sit in a position for as long as you possibly need to, and it won't cost you any type of energy whatsoever because everything is resting. You understand? So when you're meditating, what you're actually doing is fasting your movement. And then you're fasting your thoughts. You're trying to clear your mind and you're trying to stop your movement in order to what? Regulate the flow of that energy. That's what the whole entire purpose of meditation is to be able to regulate the flow in a nice, constant way that does not expel any energy. Okay? So, when you start meditating, right, the first thing that you do in order to clear the mind, it's a great thing to do, reset, right? The first thing that you do before you clear your mind is your breath work. Why? Because by focusing on your breath, you're activating the releasal of the autopilot that typically runs your system. Okay, this is like your key. This is the key to unlocking the subconscious mind. Okay, so when you start focusing on your breath work, right? When you start focusing on your breath work, if you notice, as you're learning to slow your breath and as you're learning to count your breaths and as you're learning to take your time with these things, your mind is clearing. Why is your mind clearing? It's because when you're starting your breath work, what you're doing is you're slowing down the breath. So what happens while you're slowing down the breath, you're what? You're restricting the flow. Once you restrict the flow, it lets the brain know that something isn't getting the energies where they need to get. And so when it realizes that you're the one that is restricting that flow, the control starts to relinquish. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Okay, you're doing, okay, you're, all right, you're in charge now? Okay, all right, cool, you're in charge. All right, what do you want us to do? This is when you put your mind into a state where it's receptive. Okay, this is your GABA state. This is the same thing that happens before you go to sleep. If you notice, right, I want you to pay attention to this. Right? The next time that you start to get ready to go to sleep, notice that your breath starts to slow. Most people don't pay attention to this. Most people overlook this. But if you notice, when you're starting to go to sleep, what happens? You start breathing heavier. Instantaneously. The more tired you get, the slower your breath gets and the more heavier it gets. What is that doing? It's slowing down the energy, making it so that what's happening? Your mind is receiving less energy for it to think, which is activating the GABA effect, the stasis mode that your mind goes into to what? Preserve the energies that it has. So when you're slowing down your breath, you're slowing down the energy, which is what? Which is reducing the amount of energy that your mind is using to think. Because when you're doing this, the body goes, okay, we're losing energy. So what we're going to do is make sure that we've got enough energy to go to the heart, which is why slowing down the breath magnifies the toroidal field. Right? That's how you bring out more energy out of your toroidal field, is because you're slowing down your breath. Now, what also is happening at the same time that you're slowing down your breath, when your breath is slowed down, right? Let's go back to that other diagram real quick. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Where is it? Right here, right? Right? Now, I want you to think of the practices that they tell you to speed up the way that the water flows through your system, right? I want you to think about these practices. What do they tell you to do? They tell you strain your gut, right? They tell you strain your gut because it applies the pressure to the spinal column. So what that's doing when you're straining the gut and applying the pressure, that's what? What happens when you put pressure on a hose? As the hose gets skinnier, the pressure builds up, which what? Shoots the water up rapidly, right? That's a rapid current that's being created when you're squeezing the abdominal muscles, right? So when you're slowing down your breath, guess what's happening? As your lungs expand, you're now putting the pressure on the spine again. So the reason that, now this is a, hold on, let me, all right, here, you gotta swap this around. Okay. Okay, right, now, pay attention, right? So, when you're doing your breath work, right, they tell you hold your breath. Which what? That puts the pressure on the spine. When you hold your breath like this, you can feel the pressure welling up, right? And when you're squeezing your stomach, you can also feel that pressure welling up in your gut, right? So, if you're holding your breath and you're squeezing your stomach, you're doing what? You're putting pressure on the entire hose, all the way up to this point, all the way up to right about here. This is all being compressed, which means that one, the energies that are in the brain are leaving the brain slower because they're backed up. But while they're leaving the brain slowly because they're backed up, there's pressure that's being put on, which is making it shoot up this side rapidly. Now, the interesting thing about this, right, is when you're doing these practices, right? Now look, right? So, all right, so beginner breathing techniques, right? When you first start your breathing techniques, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to practice lengthening your breath. Okay? You got to practice lengthening the breath because you're going to need this pressure later on for the thing that I'm trying to show you right now. Okay? So when you're taking these breaths, right? If you ever notice, right? This is why whenever you're upset about something, they tell you just breathe. Right? They tell you just take deep breaths. What That's the same effect. You're going to take those nice, slow, deep breaths, and that's going to what? That's going to slow down the energy traveling to the mind, which is silencing the thoughts. And as the energy is being focused on keeping the heart running, you're thinking less, and then you're at a calmer state. Why? Because when that energy stops going, it what? Releases that GABA. That's that whole trick. Okay, that's why you calm down when you start taking deep breaths. Now, there's several different ways to breathe. Okay. Oh, yeah, exactly, Reset. Exactly. You see, it gives you that calmness needed. Hey, welcome, She-Light. Right? Yeah, it soothes the nerves. Why? Your nerves, the beginning of your nervous system is the endocrine. That's here inside of your brain. So that lack of energy that's going to the endocrine system means that what? Your nerves can't be overshot with energy. That's exactly why it's calming down your nerves. Because when you're first, think about it, when you're first going into that meeting, it's, oh, fuck, I gotta say this. Oh, I gotta get it right. Oh, there's stress of the fucking boss. I don't want to piss my boss off. I don't want to say the wrong shit. I don't want to cause this account to this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You get overwhelmed, right? You'll get overwhelmed as you're getting close to a situation like this. So when you take those deep breaths, you're what? You're restricting the energy that's passing to the mind, which is releasing the energy that would be going in to fuel those negative thoughts, right? Which releases the pressure on the nervous system, the endocrine. It all plays together, right? So, different breathing techniques. All right, so basics. Let's see this. Everybody, now this is your counting scale, okay? Do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. You want to keep it on a slow pace, okay? Now, this is what I want you to do. I want to see how far we're at. So, everybody, I want you to take a deep breath, right? And I want you to hold it. And I want you to count how long you can hold that for and put it in the comments. I'll give you a minute. Some of you are going to be able to hold it longer than others. Some of you won't be able to hold it at all. We're going to find out what levels you guys are at. Just let me know what number you get to. And don't be embarrassed or nothing like that. Everybody's numbers are going to be different. 22. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. 15. I'm just trying to find your starting point. Now don't be over there passing out. Don't be over there passing out, okay? Waiting for 5 more answers. Y'all really pushing this. And that means y'all been doing y'all breathing. Either that or y'all passed out. I'm not really sure. Should I call a hospital? Dude, it is hot in here, man. I really don't like stagnant area. It gets so hot. 69 seconds. Okay. So I would assume that you've been doing breath work for a good minute, right? I wouldn't say that it'll change the waters. This is controlling the flow of the water. Now, we're still missing, what, 2 more people? Where's Heidi at? Heidi hasn't answered. Jerry hasn't answered. Who all's in here? Let's see. She-Light, let me follow you back. Paulo, let me follow you. Paulo, are you actually in the live? I don't even... Are you one of my subscribers? Hold on a second. Let me see something. Or is he just like listening? Maybe he's just listening. I think he's just listening. He's not... I don't have him on my subscriber list. 35? Okay. Alright, so here's the deal. That number that you reached, you gotta cut that down to, you gotta divide that by 3. Okay? Because you need to be able to inhale, hold, and exhale through that same number. So divide it into 3. And when you divide it into 3, each one of those 3 segments is, one is breathing in, one is holding it, and one is releasing it. Okay, that's what you're going to divide that into. Now, that's going to give you your starter number. Some of you are at like 7. Some of you are at like 20-something seconds. Some of you... Now, this is where you're going to find out whether your counting really worked for you. Okay, this is where you're going to find that out. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to divide that number by 3, and that should be your starting point. That should be your starting point. All right. And what you're going to be doing over the next month or so, and you're going to be increasing that number weekly. Each week you want to make it so that you're going to have to practice this pretty frequently in order to increase that number, because you're going to have to get your lungs used to doing these activities. Now, over the course of a month to 2 months, while you're practicing this, what you're going to do is add like 2 seconds each week. Get your body used to it. You're going to need this. The reason behind this is because one of the most powerful meditation practices and breathing techniques that you can utilize requires you to be able to hold your breath for a long period of time. And that includes the inhale and the exhale. Yeah, inhale for your first one. Count it to that first 3. You're going to inhale just as slow. You understand? You gotta get control of the whole entire breathing system. Okay? So it would be breathe in for 6. Hold for 6. Breathe out for 6. Now, there's several different breathing techniques. Several of them. Right? I'm going to give you ones like, okay, so a breathing technique that you can do to generate energy directly in your mind from the breathing. There's 2 of them. 2. Okay? There's, I forget what the name of it is, but it's short breaths. You do that for a long period of time. You need to do that about 30 times per setting. Okay? Now this is the energy creator. You're going to find that the fast breaths, because what are you doing? You're making your lungs fluctuate fast, which is what? That's sending that energy running through your system at a rapid succession. Remember, the lungs are what pump. The heart directs, the lungs pump. So when you're doing those short, fast breaths, you'll notice that if you get that up to a 30 count, you're going to want to do that in sets of 3s. You'll start to feel a buzz. You'll start to feel a buzz that'll start to generate in your head because of this. Okay? Because that's the energy that's actually going into your mind from the fast succession, from the fast pump of the lungs. See, everybody keeps thinking it's about the heart. It's not the heart, it's the lungs. The faster you pump them lungs, the faster that energy travels from you. The faster you pump them, the slower you pump them lungs, the slower that energy travels. It's like people ignore the feelings of the body and believe things that people write, and which is why they have a problem utilizing the body's capabilities. Okay, so, all right, now that's one breathing practice. Well, if you can hold your breath over a minute, break it down into 3 sections and start working that up, because you need to be able to hold your breath. Like this is the thing, right? Okay, this is the thing. When we start the energy transfers, right? When you start focusing and inducing the energy yourself and controlling the flow of it through your body, the reason that you need to be able to hold your breath heavier is multiple reasons. One, you need the pressure on your spinal column from your lungs. You need that pressure so that it squeezes the line that's on your that's on your spinal column. You want that pressure on there, okay? Now, the other reason behind that is because while you're feeling that pressure, because once I teach you how to do this, right, you're going to literally feel the pressure of that energy as it's moving through your body. Now, those of you that have done the work, that have read the book, that have reshaped the way that you think, this is why you're in this class. This is why I didn't teach people these things before they read the book. Okay, that's why I don't let people in my class that haven't. Mainly, okay, is because you need to already have your mind controlling set. You need to have your reprogramming set. You need to have your mind programmed for positive results before you do these practices. Because what this is going to do is put a surge of energy back into your mind that you don't typically get. You can't get that surge of energy any other way than through these practices. Okay? So, what you're going to do, right, when you're taking these energies, right, when you're doing your breathing, all right, I've already taught you one, how to generate energy. Let me teach you the second one, right? Now, the second one is a Hindu practice, right? And you're going to feel that same type of pressure building up as you do with the practice, okay? This practice is a rotation, okay? This is a rotation. This is how you break things down inside of you, to build the separate passageways of your energy travels, right? So what you're going to do, plug one side of the nose, and you're going to do the same waiting, pausing thing. This is what you're going to do with those 3 separate increments that I told you to create. You know, those times that I told you to keep up to? This is what you're going to use those practices for, all right? While you're doing those practices, this is going to help you elongate your ability to hold breath longer, okay? Because what you're going to be doing with this is expanding and focusing on one side of the lung at a time, okay? So you're actually going to be strengthening your lungs through this breathing process. So what you do is, and remember, with this breathing, you're breathing out of your nose, okay? This one, you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, okay? This is your second energy creating breathing process. There's 2 of them that I know of. These are the ones that I was using when I was getting into all my little astral projection and all that shit. This is what I was doing to magnify these things, right? So, because I tried a whole bunch of different ones, and these are the ones that I found to be the most direct and the most effective. And now that I know the science behind the body, I understand how they work. Okay, is it the Pina Gita? I think that's what it's called. It might that might be what it's called, right? So, what you're going to do is breathe in and out through each nostril, right? You're going to do one nostril, you do the breathe in and out through the nostril, then you do the other nostril, then you breathe normal and still breathing out through the nose. Okay, you got to keep it through the nose for this one. Okay, because this is working on the cycle. Okay, so with this one, what you're going to do, so I don't know what the other name of it. I'm pretty sure you got it right. But, you know, I don't really pay attention to names of stuff. But so you're going to do this, right? But you're going to do it in sections, right? When you do one nostril, you're going to do that nostril like 3 to 9 times. That's when you switch. On the last one, you switch over to the next one. And then on the next one, you do both. And then you switch back. And then you're going to repeat this over and over and over again. You want to do this so 1, 2, and then 3. So it's 1 side, 2 side, 3 side. Now you're going to repeat this a minimum of like 10 times. Okay? And when you're done with this, you're gonna be like, oh shit, what was that? That's gonna create a lot of pressure buildup because you're only allowing one side to flow at a time. Okay, this is going to open up your passageways, and this is going to be forcing each side. You're now dealing with each side of the brain when you're doing this. Okay, because by turning one off, what you're doing is focusing on one side, then the whole thing. Okay, so that's a very, very, very handy breathing practice. Okay, so the next one that you want to get into after that, now this is for just extending your breath in general, right? When you're doing the work to extend your breath, what you're going to do, excuse me, breathe in through the nose, but deep. You want to breathe in deep so that it goes down into the diaphragm. You want to fill your diaphragm up. Now, this is the difference when you're holding your breath between when you were just holding your breath earlier, you might have just held your breath long enough for it to just be there. When you're doing this, you're going to be doing it with the purpose of expansion. Okay? So you're going to be doing this as deeply as you can possibly breathe. This is why you're taking that slow breath in. Okay, you're taking the slow breath in so that you're expanding it as much as possible. Now, during that, you're going to hold that. You're doing this in your 3 intervals, okay? So you're going to hold that in for as long as possible, and then you're going to release as slowly as possible. Now, when you're releasing, this one you release through the mouth. Okay, don't release through your nose on this one. This one you're going to release through the mouth. Okay, so okay, you want to fully inhale, fully exhale. Now you're going to find that while you're doing this, while that process is slowing down, you're going to get that same tingly feeling. You're going to get that. Why? Because while you're doing this, you're creating the pressure on the gut, and you're also creating the pressure on the lungs. Because when you breathe deeply like this, the lungs are filling up, which is putting the pressure on the diaphragm, which is why you're going to feel that air all the way down in your gut. Okay, so what you're doing with this is the reason that you're breathing out of your mouth slowly is because it's easier for the air to breathe, it's easier to control the release of the breath through the mouth. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you exactly, okay? But when you're releasing it back through the nose, you can feel the pressure in your nose, right? But when you release it through the mouth, you don't feel that pressure at all. It just slowly comes out. And what you want to do is let it out as slowly as you can. Why? Because you're still keeping pressure on the lungs as they're compressing, right? As they're getting smaller, you're still holding that fucking tension on them, which is strengthening the elasticity of them. Okay, that's why you're expanding so heavily in the first place. You're strengthening the elasticity of it. Okay, so what you're going to do when you're doing this, right? You're going to be building this up, right? Now, I'm going to give you, because we're going to have to come back to the meditation a couple of different times. Okay, so actually, you know what? Maybe I could just do the whole thing in this live and let you guys run with it as you can. Because if you've already done the work, the energy transfers into the mind shouldn't affect you as much as it would like somebody that hasn't done the mental work. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you all of them. Okay, so now let's roll with it. All right, so when you're doing your meditation, right, a few different things. You've got your mudras, the mudra, right, like this, and I believe, hold on, I gotta remember what they are exactly. It's the two thumbs in the pyramid and in the bridge in the middle, like that. It's like this, but okay. You see, you want to go like this. These are energy points. Okay, it's all energy points. Okay, so basically, you want your thumb to be held down by this finger. Okay, and what you're going to do when you have the fingers that are pressing them down, the two fingers come together like this. Okay, and you're creating the three triangles, right? Just think of it as three triangles, right? Now you want your thumbs, you want your hands flat together on your thumbs like this, okay? Now, this is one, right? This is one mudra. Now, I don't remember which one this is specifically, but this is something that you're going to do when you're doing your deep breathing. I'm going to look them up just to make sure I'm giving you the right ones, okay? There are certain ones for the energy, which is the one that people say is fire. There's ones for the breathing, which is the air. There's ones for the water. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's different mudras for different things, and these also equate to different body parts. You know, heart, mind, foot, leg. Like these energy points. That's why you do certain things with them. That's why you see people doing shit like this. All these different things that they're doing. This shit right here. These are all energies. All this shit is different energy, different ways to do energies. You need to study your mudras, but I'll make a post about the mudras and put it into the what do you call it? Into the playlist. Okay, I'll do a whole thing on the mudras and put it into the playlist so that you guys understand. Okay, this right here, this is your heart. Okay, this is the heart mudra. Okay, that's for your heart. It's just like your heart, right? You got the one that curls over, you got the three that pop out. Okay, that's your heart. Okay, so you can put that on either leg and just pinch your thumb to your index. Okay, now what you're going to be doing while these are the things that are going to rocket fuel your system. Now, okay, so the fast breathing one, you'll feel pressure build up in your head when you're doing that one. Now, I'm going to teach you something different, right? When you're doing your long breathing work, right? When you're doing the long breath work, what you're going to do while you're doing this, I want you to look right here, right? You're going to look up in here. Okay, this is where you want your eyes to focus. Don't cross them. And do this with your eyes shut. Don't cross them. Do this with your eyes shut. Now, what you're going to do... Oh, sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to hit you. Sorry, I elbowed my dog. What you're going to do when you're doing this is you're going to imagine an energy here in your focal point. Okay? This is what you need to do. Now, you're going to be able to do this a lot better if you go back through the pages in the curriculum and make yourself familiar with all the functions of the brain. The reason that you want to do this is because the more you can clearly see it, the more you'll be able to be effective with it. This is why I've been showing y'all this shit for so long. See, y'all are getting all the pieces put together that everybody else is going to be missing out on. The whole entire reason that I've been showing you all these different pictures of the brain and telling you about all the brain functions and how the body operates and things like that is for the control that you need to be able to have in order to utilize these things to the fullest capabilities. I've been preparing everybody for Christ consciousness. They just don't understand it. They want you to tell you. They want to tell you, I'm going to teach you. No, I'm not going to tell them. I'm not telling them shit. They're just going to learn it as they go. You get what I'm saying? So here's the deal. What you want to do is focus right here. And you're going to see that energy come up by that corpus callosum. You're going to see that hippocampus generate that energy, right? For people that are less advanced, they tell them just focus on energy being in your pineal gland. This is not where your pineal gland is. Your pineal gland is way the fuck back here near the soft point. It's not in the front of your head. It's not in the front. It's not in the front of your brain. Your pineal gland is way back here in the middle. But like here. It's like way back here by the temples. In between the temple. Okay? So everybody like, oh, go just focus here. This is why you need to know the body. So, anyway, what you're going to be doing with that energy, right? You're going to visualize that energy being created. Okay? When you visualize that energy being created, what you're then going to do is you're going to focus on it. This is why you need to be sitting down when you do your meditation, because you need to straighten this shit out. Okay? You need this nice and straight. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. Right? You need this nice and straight. So what you're going to visualize, you're going to be looking up towards here. What you're going to feel is a slight pressure when you're doing it. You'll feel a kind of pressure because your eyes have to get used to this, right? Now, as you're doing this, right, you're going to feel that slight pressure as your eyes are looking there. It's going to take you a while to get used to that feeling because it kind of hurts a little bit when you first start doing it, okay? It really does. Like, it literally hurts because you're going to have to strain your eyes to keep them looking this way. Okay, so while you're doing this, you're going to be, the reason is you're tricking your mind into going inside of itself. Okay, so you're going to picture that energy being created in here. Now, as you breathe in, you're going to imagine that energy traveling down your spine, and you need to be able to visualize this. Okay, you need to be able to visualize this. And the thing is you're going to have to practice a couple of times to be able to visualize it, okay? You're going to have to get used to being able to force your mind to see what you want it to see when you want it to see it. But you'll find, like me telling you about it right now might make it a little bit difficult. But you'll find when you're doing your breathing process and your mind is receptive to what you want because of the fact that you're doing your breathing process, it'll make that exponentially easier because now your brain is waiting for you to give it commands because you've already shown by taking control of the lungs that you're trying to do something specific. Okay, so your brain is going to wait for your command. So that's why all of your noise is going to clear out and it's going to black out. Now, you're going to have to visualize that energy traveling down your spine. Now, once you visualize it traveling down your spine, that's your breathing in. Okay, that's what you do when you're breathing in. So as you're counting, as you're breathing in, you're visualizing it passing down. Now, after you get to that point, right? By the time that you're done breathing in, that energy, you should have already visualized that energy going down to the base. Okay, now this is where things get a little bit complicated. Okay, and this is where your breath work is really going to tell you where you're at, because you have to hold your breath through this whole entire process, okay? Once you breathe in, the whole process is started. You're going to trace that energy down, and then you're going to feel it as it's moving back up, and you will feel this. You know how when you hold your breath for a long time, you feel that kind of like choking pressure building up inside of you? Right? You know what I'm talking about? Right? When you hold your breath for a long time, you start to feel that. You start to feel like a choking pressure that builds up on you, right? That's because when you're holding it for a long time, you're automatically putting pressure on your gut by doing so. You don't have to squeeze your stomach when you're holding your breath. You're automatically going to do it. So that's the pressure that's building up, right? Now, this is the thing. Naturally, you're going to want to breathe when you feel that pressure because you're trained to. You're trained to every time you feel that pressure. That's what you do when you're holding your breath for a long time. You're like you're just like gasping for breath. You got to control that. This is why you're doing this practice. The reason is because once you visualize that energy traveling down, you can literally feel it. You can literally feel that there's a ball of energy when you're focusing on it, because the brain is going to give it. It's going to give it because of the lung work that you're doing. It's going to give you that energy that you're requesting from it. And it's going to allow you to send that through your system. Now, when you're in here, what you're going to do is focus on those chakra points, right? Think about the chakra points. That's your easiest way to do this guideline, unless you know the meridians of the body and things like that. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to feel that energy push through each point, right? You're going to drop it down to your sacrum, which is your lower chakra, and then you're just going to, while you're holding your breath, you're going to envision that energy moving upwards through each chakra point. What you're going to find is that by the time you make it to the heart chakra, it's going to be like a fucking baseball built up inside of your chest. It's really, really strenuous. I'm not going to lie to you. You might let it go. Like, don't force yourself through this, okay? Allow yourself to naturally get used to this process. You're going to feel like there's a fucking baseball in your chest. And this is around this time, once you get it to here, is when you're going to first start that inkling, because that ball that hits your chest, it's hard. It's hard. Like, you can really be prepared for that, okay? Now, you're going to practice that a couple of times, getting it just to the heart. Just practice making it to your heart the first week or two of doing this. Just practice for like the first week. Practice the energy going down the spine. Practice feeling it. Get used to the feeling of it. Okay. The next week, practice getting that energy up to the heart. Practice making, because you're gonna find all that stuff. All of you that think that you're holding your breath for a good amount of time right now, that changes. That changes because of that energetic pressure. You're not going to be able to hold your breath as long as you normally would. Because the reason that you can hold your breath so long right now is because you're being completely still and you're not utilizing your energy while you're holding your breath right now. This, however, is going to require you to utilize and create and utilize and push. You have to you're physically but mentally pushing this through your system. Okay? So you're going to focus on getting it to your heart. First week, get it down to your spine, right? Get used to seeing that and make yourself see that. Second week, get it up to your heart. Third week, get it up to your throat. This is the worst one. This is the worst. Notice I told you you're going to feel a baseball inside your chest, right? Now get that baseball to your throat. That is going to be your trickiest one, because once you make it past that, you'll be able to, like, when you first start getting to the throat, if you take your time with this the way I'm telling you to, right? If you take a couple of weeks to go through this, don't try to do it all at once and take your time with this, right? Build it up, okay? You're going to find out that once you start moving that energy around, you're going to find out that you're going to need to hold your breath longer than you already think that you can. You're just going to have to, because trust me, I've done it millions of times. Okay? So once you get it to here, you're almost there. The home run is getting it back into the mind. Okay? That's your home run. Now, once you get it into the mind, that's technically where you want to start releasing your breath from, is once you got it up to your mind. But you're not going to be able to get it there right off the bat. Like, you can force yourself to do it. If you do this like multiple times in a day and shit like that, you can definitely force yourself to try to get that far. But because you're not doing it with ease, you're not going to get the full effect of it. But once you first complete this, you're going to come and talk to me. You're going to be like, oh my God. You're like, oh my God, what was that? The amount of energy that you get into your brain from this is going to rocket the way that your brain feels when you're able to complete it. I'm talking about, I don't think, if you've never completed this process, it's going to be a new feeling for you completely. Like, you're literally going to feel like all kinds of crazy tingles shooting through your mind when you're doing this. Like, it's just like, once you get it up there, it's just like this static. It's like this crazy ass static that just fucking, it just goes berserk, okay? But it feels amazing. It's like euphoric at the same time. Like, you're gonna, it's like an electric brain massage. That's the best way I can explain it to you. It's like okay, you're gonna feel euphoric. You'll feel like it's like you'll have a mass amount of energy, but you'll have a serious calm to it. Like, you've never felt more calm in your life than the feeling that you're going to get when you shoot that energy up there, because the closest that you've been to that is when you're about to fall asleep. You notice how when you're about to fall asleep, you hit that real peaceful fucking fuzzy stage? It's like that, but crystal clear. A staticky electric type feeling that like, you know, you'll feel it inside of your head, and you'll also be calm as fuck. Like, super, super calm. Oh, if you've been trying to do this, look, I'm telling you, this is the way to do it. Now, how do you, okay, so that right there is your end game. That is your end game meditation goal. Is to be able, that's your super meditation right there. Okay, that's the one that returns energy or sends energy to your pineal gland. You understand? That's what you're doing. You're putting it in there so that it releases everything inside of your mind. Oh, thank you guys very much. Okay, so now, how to know if you're ready for that point? How do you know if you're ready for that point? You're going to have a hard time visualizing that energy if you're not already able to see the energies. You should be able to see a whole color. You should be able to go through a whole rainbow of colors in your mind before you even reach that state. When you close your eyes, if all of you see is blackness, you got work to do. If you close your eyes, you should, the first thing that you're going to see is faint traces of what will look like a purplish type aura. So the ball in the chest and traveling the energy is while holding your breath. Yes. Yeah, that you have to, that's the thing, Reset, is you have to be able to accomplish transferring it down and all the way back up before you release your breath. That's what you need to be able to do. In order to get it all the way to your mind, you need to be able to, because you need the pressure. Right? Hold on, let me go back to the diagram. Let me show you real quick, right? Look, right? Check this out, right? Because, look, remember, right? When you're holding your breath, you're doing what? Yeah, it's just you, Heidi. It's definitely just you right now. I got perfect signal and I'm on Wi-Fi. So, look, when you're holding your breath, you're doing what? You're putting that pressure on the spine. Which is doing what? Speeding up the way that the things travel. Right? Because when you're holding your breath, you've got the pressure from the spine, putting it right here. Sorry, I had a verification, right? You've got the pressure of the spine, putting it right here. While you're holding your breath, you're also holding that diaphragm as well. So that's putting pressure on the whole entire hose, all the way up to this point. That's why I told you when it gets to your fucking throat is going to be the one that's going to be the hardest one. Okay? Because during this whole process, you have the assistance of the pressure that's helping you assist that energy traveling. Because you've now got that pressure that's making that fucking streamline. All right? That's basically a pressure washer. You're creating a pressure washer inside of your system. Okay? But that pressure washer stops right about here. It cuts off like right about here, because your lungs are only like this big. right? So right about here is where the pressure breaks, which is why I told you worry about getting it to your heart first. Okay, you worry about getting that energy as high as your heart goes. Now, remind you, it's going to be traveling back up your spine. Okay, keep that thought. You have to keep that in your thoughts, that the energy is in your spine and that it's traveling back up through the spine. Now, you can focus on the chakra points when you're doing this. This is the one time when chakras actually come in handy. Right? I don't like them. I don't like that whole thing. But you know, this is where they actually come in handy. Okay, Bink. Okay. So, what you're going to be doing is generating that energy. Right? Look up into your head. Try to generate that energy. Now, if you can close your eyes, like this is what you need to train yourself to do, to be able to use your inner eye to see the energies and acknowledge that it's able to see them, because once you're able to acknowledge the energies that you're seeing within you, that's when you're able to generate them. Okay? So when you're closing your eyes, when you begin your practices, start with your breathing, but when you start your breathing, focus on the darkness. And what you'll notice is that while you're focusing on that darkness, you'll be able to see that energy that's traveling back into your body. Like, you'll be able to see the energy that's traveling back into your mind, because as it does, it's going to create what looks like an aura. Right? It's going to create what looks like an aura. Now, first that'll start off being purple. Right? It'll start off with a purple aura. I don't know why. It does it the same for every fucking body. Okay, they tell you that's your crown chakra. Okay, whatever. All right. Okay, it starts off with a purple aura, right? And then the longer that you do it, you'll notice that, you know, that purple will turn to a blue, right? That blue will start to turn to a green. That green will start to turn to the yellow. The yellow will start to, like, eventually you want to get yourself to the point to where you can see a full spectrum of color within your mind. Because that means that you're able to acknowledge all the different energies that are being created at that time. Okay, this is what gives your mind the ability to create the energy on command, is verification, acceptance, and acknowledgement. You have to see. This is why this is why in the book it tells you, you know, acknowledge the things that you do and know them to be true. Right? Stop believing what everybody tells you and acknowledge the things that you can witness yourself and accept them as part of yourself. Okay? Once you do this, you're then able to command yourself off of the things that you now accept. So accept those lights, allow them to grow, get it to the point to where your mind, you know, this is how you'll know when you're ready for this point of transferring that energy. How you'll know for sure is when you can close your mind for meditation and your mind automatically goes into seeing the colors. That's how you'll know when you're advanced enough to start carrying that energy through you. Now, that's going to take you a good amount of time to do while you're getting through your meditation. Right? It'll take you roughly about a month of consistent meditating in order for you to get through being able to acknowledge and see all the different colors that can be produced off of the energy, the light that's traveling through the mind, right? And once you're able to do this, then you want to try to focus on seeing that energy in your head first. Right? Do that for the first 3 days of the week when you start this process. Just try to focus on creating that energy and holding that energy in your mind while you're going through the breathing. I'm telling you, it's something else, yeah. Okay? So for the first couple of days, just focus on, because what you're going to find, right, is that once you're used to seeing those energies inside of your head, it's the focusing of it that creates the new light, right? You'll see it's not going to be all those colors. What you're going to be creating is a white light. Okay? Specifically, you want to create a silverish white light Okay, that's raw energy. That's raw energy. Okay, that's what you want. That's what you're wanting to be able to visualize. Once you can visualize that ball of energy, then you can start working on the transcending process. You can start working on transferring it down through the body. Then you start working on transferring it up to the heart. Then you start working on transferring it to the throat. Then you work on getting it all the way to your mind. Do it in stages. What does it do? Well, what you're actually doing is fueling your mind with energy that doesn't typically get back to it. So what you're really doing is how can I explain this to you in a way that makes sense? Okay, think about it like this, right? What people have mistakenly called astral projection and think that's leaving their body is just gaining full access to your brain. Now, if you understand that, you understand the capabilities of the things that you were taught that you're able to do while you're in that mind state, right? So when you're in that mind state, you're only able to do so much at this point in your life because you need a large burst of energy to fully be able to unlock what you can do in there, right? Now, by doing this, if you're doing this process on a day-to-day basis, right, what you're actually doing is putting your mind into a natural state of GABA on its own throughout your daily process, which isn't something that happens naturally. This is something that has to be done through this process, okay? What this is going to do is give you a level of calm that you've never experienced. It's going to give you a well of a feeling of happiness, and it's going to make it so that you're able, your synapses, the process of comprehension is greatly magnified by the energy, which means that you're able to access and unlock things in your mind that you didn't know that were there, that you didn't know that you were able to do. When I was doing this, this is how I ended up, how can I put this? Traveling, what you would consider time traveling. It's the best way I can explain it. What you would consider time traveling and dimension hopping and all that type of shit, that's what your mind creates. You're not able to create that type of thing right now at will because your mind has not received that type of energy that's necessary for it to be able to run a processor like that. Think about it like this. Your mind is a processor inside of a computer. If the processor inside of your computer does not get the amount of energy that it's supposed to do, what happens? Your computer slows down drastically and exponentially, and it's unable to perform the way that it's supposed to perform. What you're doing right now is basically taking a fibrillator to your brain. That's what you're doing. You're taking a defibrillator to your mind and shocking it with a massive amount of energy. Now, the thing is that energy is not short-lived. That energy will last you for hours throughout your entire day. It will last you for hours and days on end. So each day that you do it, you magnify and increase that, and magnify and increase that, and magnify and increase, and magnify and increase. Now you do this as a practice. Why are you going to do this as a practice? Same reason I told you about that regimen of pills and everything that I take to get my body maximized in the first place, is because you're training your DNA to start to do it naturally. That's what your goal is. So once you've gotten to the point to where you can control this and do this, you can then program it to be on autopilot. Now you understand how I was able to learn about law, about status, about religion, about hieroglyphs, about sacred geometry, about math, about language, about all of these things within a 3 to 4 year time period, and know more and retain more than People that have been studying this stuff for their whole life can't tell you answers to the things that I can tell you answers to, because of the fact that their mind is unable to process and function the way that I was able to get my mind to process and function. This is the thing that makes it so that you can actually use your brain. Right now, you don't. Right now, naturally, you don't. And the thing is once you've done this for like a good 30-day period, it becomes a natural thing for your body to just do it. So once you've gotten your body to the state to where it's used to doing this process, when you sit down to meditate, your body's automatically going to start sending that energy. Just on automation. And then once you've gotten it doing it on automation, then it becomes a natural part of your everyday life, which means that your brain is now maximized indefinitely until you decide otherwise. So from that point forward, all you're going to do is be eating the foods that maximize the brain. This is why this is where your fruit diet comes in. Because all you want to do at that point is put raw energy back into your system so that it has more to fuel it. Okay? This is what you're after. This is your elixir. This is your fountain of youth. Because what you're not realizing is that you're also getting all the benefits of what while you're doing this? Where is it? Where is it? What's the secret to sun gazing? The secret to sun gazing is what? The energy, that white light that you're able to get inside of your endocrine system. The same thing that you're doing right now through the breathing process. So that means that you're going to what? You're going to activate everything. Through this process, you are putting your body's repair system, growth system, youth system, and everything on hyperdrive. Yeah, it's a jump start. Now you maintain that through the food. Once you get it on automation, as long as the only things that you're putting in your system are living energy, you're fueling your body's automatic system that you've set to run. Which is why when you're doing this, you don't want to eat processed foods and meat. Because you're going to what? Remove the energy immediately. Immediately, it will consume all of your energy. All you got to do is eat a fucking burger and you're done. That's the end of all of it. You got to start over from scratch. Because now you've activated your gut, which is going to rip all that energy right out of the rest of your system. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, your homework assignments. Your homework assignment is going to be to take a video of you doing your breathing, right? And you're going to just do your regular breathing to find out your level. And I want you to take a video and post it on your fucking TikTok. It's not there for the world, it's there for you. I don't care if you it doesn't have to be a public video. It can be private if you want, or just for friends, or however you want to do it. I don't give a shit. Take the video of your breathing and keep that as your reminder of your starting point. So that you remember where you started from, so that you know where you don't want to end back up. Okay? I love you. Thank you for attending the class. Now, for those of you, class will be 7 p.m. Eastern Central Time sharp every Sunday. Every Sunday. Okay? I will give people a few minutes that get in late, but it will be every Sunday. So I'm not going to keep sending out the invites to everybody every time that I do the live. Okay? That's going to be on you. I will be here Sundays. The only time that I shouldn't even have to make a post about it. If I make a post about it, it's only going to be because the time has to change. And that would only be because I got banned or something off my live or some shit like that. But outside of that, it's going to be every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Central Time. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the class. I'll catch you in the next class or on my next live, whatever. But you know what I mean. Thank you for attending.